Hello and welcome to On the Bench, the only weekly sports discussion show for the Lincolnshire and Humber region right here on Channel 7. I'm Paul Woodford. As usual, on the show today we'll be taking a look at some of the interesting talking points that the world of sport has thrown up this week, and also inviting our studio guests to share their opinions on the stories from the past 7 days. And of course there is plenty to discuss this week with the release of next season's Football League fixture list, throwing up some room-dividing debates. Joining us on the bench this evening is Chairman of Cleethorpes Town Football Club and avid Everton fan David Patterson, and Vice Chairman of the Cricket section at Cleethorpes Cricket Club, Don Clifton. A pleasure to welcome you both to On the Bench.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now Dave, just talk to us a little bit about Cleethorpes Town. It needs no introduction, but just for the sake of our viewers.
We're an FA Charter Standard community club based at the Linden Homes Club on Clee Road. We operate with 30 junior teams, with 3 girls' side within that setup, and we have 4 senior sides. Our first team playing in the Northern Counties East League. We were awarded FA Charter Standard Community Club for Lincolnshire in 2012, which was really an accolade that we never dreamt of.
Fantastic, some great opportunities for lots of budding local players then as well. And Don, our first guest from the world of cricket, how's the summer been treating you so far?
Well, the summer's been going very well, really. We are rebuilding this year. We lost 3 or 4 senior players last year who have gone to pastures new, and another one retired. And we've recruited through our youth system, and they're doing really well. We're about mid-table in the Yorkshire League, which is a very strong league. When you get in players such as Joe Root and Bairstow are in the England squad appearing in that league. And in fact, I should think at least half the Yorkshire county side have played at some stage in the season.
Fantastic. So a great local club. Great to have you both on the bench. Right, we'll be back with our guests in a short while. Now, if you've seen the show before, you'll know that we like to send our roving reporter Matt Denson out into the community to try his hand at some of the sports on offer in the region. So far, you guys have really been putting him through his paces. He's been boxing with Super Hooper, tried jiu-jitsu at Gracie Academy, and just last week, we got him out on the rink with Grimsby Red Wings Ice Hockey Club. He's been walking differently recently. Say no more. Anyway, I think this week tops them all. If there's anyone out there who knows how to help you work up a sweat, it's fitness instructor Marie Bellamy. And this week, Mr. Denson went along to one of Marie's intensive body combat sessions down at Lviv in Cleethorpes. That's coming up later in the show, and trust me, you really don't want to miss it. Very funny. And of course, we've been getting you involved with the show here at On the Bench. We've had more of your sporting questions for our in-house experts to put their minds to. We've had some great questions in so far as well. You can send your questions in via Twitter using the hashtag OnTheBenchTV or on our Facebook page. Just search for On The Bench TV. This week, Tom Reid will be here to answer your questions. So, a packed programme for you, but before all of that, let's have a quick roundup of this week's sports headlines. In cricket, England went right to the wire in the ICC final, but eventually lost out to India by just 5 runs. The game shaped up for a tense ending with England needing 20 off just 16 balls, but a subsequent collapse in the batting order saw India take the title. Rugby and down under, the British and Irish Lions fared slightly better, clinching a narrow victory in the first test against Australia. The Wallabies missed a penalty conversion in the final few minutes which would have won them the game. It finished 23-21 to the Lions. And the new Premier League fixture list was released last week, meeting a mixed response from fans and professionals, with the FA claiming that England's hopes of qualifying for the World Cup have taken a knock, with 2 of the season's biggest matches taking place just days before the national side's crucial encounters against Moldova and Ukraine. Guys, this is a big talking point all over the world of sport at the moment. David, you were saying earlier that normally they would have cancelled these matches before the international qualifiers.
Yeah, I find it very strange that they're not doing that this season. To play, or expect players to play on a Saturday, Sunday, and then a really important qualifying games on the Tuesday and Friday. It's just beyond belief.
Because there are some big games on that weekend before. Now, Don, taking it back down to a more local level, of course, Hull City, it's been announced that they'll be playing Manchester United on Boxing Day. A great fixture for this region because you can imagine the boost that's going to bring into the Humber region, having all the fans descending on the KC Stadium. What are your thoughts on how good this fixture list is in the terms of Hull City being here in the Premier League?
Well, I think it's great for Hull City and it's great for Hull, but there'd be a sellout on Boxing Day, and I'd imagine there'd be a sellout nearly every Saturday when Hull are entertaining someone else from the Premier League.
But we were talking earlier, and of course, although this is talked about and that hits the headlines, it doesn't always filter down to the rest of the region, does it, you guys? As sometimes, I think we use the term hung out to dry in terms of funding. £30,000 a year it costs you to hold on to that club?
It does, yeah. Just to run our first team cost us £30,000 last season. Hell of a lot of money to run one team. And then we're talking where players are getting paid £200,000 a week. Just 1 week's wages.
And I know, Don, you've just brought in a South African international, haven't you, into your squad, which...
well, he's not international, he's first class in South Africa. But again, as you say, it costs an awful lot of money to get them over here and accommodate and get them back on the field. So
we could do with sharing some of that boost for the local economy around the different grassroots sports, maybe?
Most definitely, most definitely.
Well, we could talk all evening about this, I'm sure, particularly having a couple of local sporting experts on the bench with us. Thanks for your views on that one, guys. Just to touch on our other local teams, Grimsby and Lincoln fans can expect to see fixtures for the conference released in early July, and Scunthorpe will be kicking off their League 2 campaign with a home tie against Mansfield on August the 3rd, the day I get married, so I won't be there. Now, over the past week, we've been gathering together your questions and we've put them to one of our resident experts. Here's Tom with a view from the estuary.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of A View from the Estuary. Yes, I think it's not a bad decision on his part. He's had a ripe old career. I think he started at the age of 17. He's now 38, so it's a 21-year career. He's achieved, a lot in terms of his cricket career. He's, in 2006, he became he got the highest rating of any batsman in the last 50 years. He's only one of 4 men to achieve over 13,000 test runs. So by no means has he not achieved anything. I mean, he's achieved everything he possibly could, you might say. So it's not a bad decision. So for me, yeah, it's a wise decision. Quit while you're ahead, if you like. Hull City then, they've obviously just been promoted. So generally the promoted sides go for the relegated players. It's not always the case, I might be wrong, but I think Christian Benteke has been quoted as saying he wants to leave Aston Villa. I think if Hull can sign him, that'd be a massive signing for Hull. They could go for the mid-table sides like Fulham, Stoke. If they can get players off them, I think they've got a very good chance of staying in the league. So maybe relegated players or teams in and around mid-table of the Premier League. I think players of that calibre will be good enough for Hull to sort of stay and compete in the league, I think. Obviously, Manchester United have changed manager, Manchester City have changed manager. Although Mourinho's a new manager, he's been at Chelsea before, so he knows the ropes there, whereas the other 2 managers don't know the team. So, yes, Mourinho will be the special one, and he will win the title, I believe. That's because of the players he's got. They're young players from what he left in 2006, so he can help them achieve their peak in their career, if you like. So for that reason, he will win the title. Yes, Andy Murray can win it. He's just been ranked 2nd in the world above Federer and just below Djokovic in 1st place, so there's no reason why he can't. Last year, Andy Murray beat Federer at the Olympics, quoting, "He's not bad for an old man." And Andy Murray now has a couple of Grand Slams as well, so he's got the experience, he's done it, so he can win Wimbledon this year. Lewis Hamilton this season then, I don't think he's peaked yet. I still think he's got potential to get better, obviously. If he masters that car and he gets used to the brakes, as Jensen said, I think he's going to be dangerous, so watch out. That's it then from this week's A View from the Estuary. If you've got a question for us, you can let us know over facebook.com/onthebenchtv, or you can tweet us if you like at onthebenchtv, or you can email us studio@estuaryradio.com. Thank you for your questions. See you again next week.
Some great questions there, certainly thought-provoking. So well done if one of your questions was answered by Tom this week. As always, if you've got a question for our Estuary boys, simply tweet your question with the OnTheBenchTV hashtag. Join us after the break when we'll be continuing the discussion with our guests, and Matt Denson works up a sweat at one of Marie Bellamy's body combat sessions. See you soon. Welcome back to On The Bench. Now, you may have seen the Queen's Birthday Honours list was announced last week, and as usual, recognised some truly inspirational people from around the country for all their hard work, efforts and achievements in their lifetimes. From the world of sport, we saw Scottish golfer Paul Lowry, presenter Claire Balding and Red Bull F1 boss Christian Horner all awarded an OBE. Also presented with an MBE was our very own local boy Luke Campbell for services to boxing. Which leads me on to what I want to discuss with our guests on the bench this evening. Cleethorpes Town Football Club Chairman David Patterson and Vice Chairman of the cricket section of Cleethorpes Cricket Club, Don Clifton. Now Luke is just 25, undeniably a fantastic honour to get an MBE, having just got the gold at the Olympics, but is it too soon in his career? He's just going professional. Frank Bruno was already fighting at World Championship level before he got his. What do you think, David?
Most definitely. Taking nothing away from Luke, I think he was probably one of the outstanding performers within the Olympic Games. But to award him this MBE at such a young age, and I think he's really got to prove himself at professional level and see where we go from there.
Where can he go from there, Don? After getting an MBE, what's he going to be aiming for next, do you think?
Well, I just cannot understand the awards, really. They dished out, like gongs are dished out willy-nilly, I think.
You were talking to me about the cricket
and the
team,
cricket
weren't you?
world, yeah, after the Ashes victory a few years ago now, the whole team were awarded gongs, including Paul Collingwood, who only played one game.
Great to put on the CV, but perhaps not good for the value of these awards, because we're talking about top local sportsmen that are very early on in their careers, and they need the motivation, don't they, early on, not to feel like they've peaked too soon.
Yeah, I remember watching Luke on the TV when he came back to his hometown after the Olympics, and his medals were just all over the place, and he's obviously very good at what he does, but to award a top MBE at such a young age is devaluing.
Nevertheless, I like the fact that he thought the Queen looked like his grandma, and I think we all think that. I'm sure that's a question that would divide opinion in just about any room. But for now, let's take a quick break from the discussion to sit back and enjoy watching how sweaty Matt Denson got when we sent him out for an intensive workout session with local fitness instructor Marie Bellamy.
Well, here we are. 45 minutes may change everything. I had to go and do body combat for the first time. Going to meet the instructor, going to meet my class, going to get changed. Going to see what's going to happen. See you soon.
Hi.
Hello. How are you? You all right?
I'm fine, thank you.
Am I in trouble today?
No, not at all. You'll be
Good.
fine.
Thank you.
My name's Marie and I'm a group exercise instructor. It's all to do with boxing and strength and balance.
Since 7:15 on a Wednesday and 9:30 on a Saturday morning.
I normally do quite a bit of running, but I'm not running at the minute, so I thought I'd do something different, fitness-wise, and it's completely different.
People are very friendly and you don't feel out of place when you can't do it very well until you get into it.
Yeah, we definitely recommend it.
Absolutely recommend it.
I've been to three or four lessons, and it's Thomas's first. Yeah.
So Thomas, tell us about how did you find your first lesson?
Tiring, very, very tiring. It was very good to it.
You did okay for the first time.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
So here we are, body combat. I've just done a bit of a session. How did I do?
You did quite well considering.
Now do you want to be honest and tell the truth?
I think you laboured the point a little bit.
So basically you go and get taught, and you bring that back, and you teach mere mortals like ourselves how to do it, and keep everyone fit, and then you go away and have more pain, learn more lessons,
We do,
and bring it back to the classroom, is that right?
We have to, twice a year, there's compulsory training which we have to attend.
The warm-up that you did, I thought that was the exercise.
You thought that's the whole thing?
I thought that's what it was. It stepped up a pace from there.
It did.
Is that the way it goes everywhere? Was that just a warm-up to get you in the mood?
That's the idea, you can't launch straight in.
Well, thank you very much for the class.
No worries,
And
thank
we'll
you
see
for
you
coming.
again. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Wow, body combat. Fantastic. Great session, 45 minutes here at Lviv. Get involved. If you've ever thought or ever wanted to do something different, this is it. Found it, loved it, enjoyed it. I'll be here next week.
Well, I'm joined on the bench now by a less sweaty and a rather more refreshed looking Matt Denson. Matt, it looked tiresome.
It was hard work. It was fun, but hard work. I tell you what, I'm just getting over it now.
Fun, but hard work. It's called body combat. That doesn't sound like fun. I wouldn't have even turned up. What about you guys?
Most definitely not.
You wouldn't get your lads training doing something like that then?
No, I don't think they'd turn up for that.
What about yours, Don?
I thought he looked a natural. He did really.
Naturally worn out. That's what I was. You've got to get your lads doing it. You've got to. I tell you what, these feet you ache, you use muscles you don't even know you've got. Yeah, good fun.
Are you still aching?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, don't tell anybody, but I am.
You are moving differently.
I tell you. You would as well.
You've been walking differently the last few weeks,
literally,
actually.
I've got to tell you, I did a warm-up session, right, and I thought I was actually doing all right. And she said, no, that was just the warm-up. We then went into a full session. Blimey, I was blown away. I tried to keep up. What I didn't realise is my left and my right don't always go together. So, I tell you, great fun.
Body combat, that's a pretty poignant time to find that out, isn't it?
I didn't know before that, did I? I maybe not have done it if I realised. But no, it was great. It was really good fun. Yeah, if you want to work out, you want something high intensity, that is it.
Well, absolutely. If you are part of a club in the local area and you'd like Matt to come along to take a training session with your team, get in touch with our production crew via our Facebook page, On The Bench TV, or tweet at On The Bench TV. It will be great to hear from you. And the harder the better. Matt likes it hard, don't you?
Well, it seems to be getting harder and harder each week.
You can step it up a little bit.
I tell you, we're pushing it now. We're pushing, but we're liking it.
He's looking like he's finding it a bit easy at the moment. So whatever you've got for him, bring it on. Now, of course, bringing it back to sport, Wimbledon has started this week. Any predictions, guys?
Do you think Murray's going to do it?
We were talking about this earlier. We've a bit of negativity in the room.
Not for me.
Not for me.
I'd like to see it, though. We all would, wouldn't we?
I think he'll rank outsider.
He's about 26 years old now, isn't he? So he's got to do it soon if he's going to do it at all.
Yeah.
We were saying the same about Tim Henman, weren't we?
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think the outcome will be the same as well, I'm afraid.
I think it'll always be very close, but not quite there.
It's going to be a good tournament, though. It's going to be good to watch, I think. Just bringing back to something we were discussing earlier, the FA Cup. Of course, with it being put back now, people are saying that the magic of the FA Cup is lost. But for Cleethorpes Town Football Club, the magic is well and truly only just beginning, isn't it? The first time you've been in the FA Cup, for your history, certainly, as you've known it.
Yeah, without doubt, and it's massive for us. Not only playing in the FA Cup and being part of the FA Cup, but financially as well. So everyone's a winner.
Your first match will be against somebody pretty evenly matched, and you stand to gain, is it £1,000, £1,500 from that if you win?
It's £1,500 for the first game that we play if we're successful. So fingers crossed. But it's not all about the money. It's the enjoyment of being in the FA Cup, and the further we go, who knows?
And Don, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because talking of cricket, you guys were in the National Championship just a couple of weeks ago.
That's right. We were playing away in, I think, the second round against the York Cricket Club. York were the national champions. They won the trophy last year, and we lost by 50 runs, which sounds a lot, but in over 200 runs per side, it was a fairly close game. We think our young lads did well.
Yeah, well, if you're going to lose to anyone, why not lose to last year's champions, eh?
Agreed.
But the FA Cup final, moving back, obviously, we've got people on the bench this week that are telling us that does not ruin the magic, and I happen to agree with you. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Cleethorpes Town Football Club get on. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you to our guests tonight, Dave Patterson and Don Clifton, and of course, thank you to Matt Denson for getting sweaty with us on screen. If you'd like to get involved with the show too, you can. And well done if you sent in your questions for a view from the Estuary. We'll see you next time here at On The Bench. Take care. We'll see you soon.